So, have you heard of Airtable? Most people that I've talked to has heard about Airtable through the grapevine, has heard different social groups using it, has heard about their clients using it in their business, but they don't know a lot about it themselves. Are you intrigued by this platform because you keep hearing about it, because you keep hearing about the things that it can do? Well, I'm going to give you an introductory guide to Airtable today so you can experiment with it, see the types of things that it's capable of, and make a decision for yourself whether this is a tool that you want to utilize in your business. I am Anna. If you have not met me before, I am the owner and CEO of Anna's Simple Solutions, where we take chaotic business systems and create very simple ones using ClickUp and Airtable as your centralized business management hub. If you want to hear more about how these two tools can work together to actually skyrocket the productivity of yourself and your team, please make sure to hit the notification bell below as well as subscribe to the channel so you are notified when new videos come out. And just so you know that I'm not just all about the business all the time, I am also a mother, a wife, mother of actually two little boys, both neurodivergent, extremely smart, and all over the place all the time. So I am exhausted. So I need to actually learn how to create simple systems for me and my clients so we're all able to function and follow that dopamine that really kind of pulls those ADHD and neurodivergent minds in order to really enjoy the really important parts of life. So that's just a little tidbit about me. Airtable and ClickUp are the two tools that I use, mostly to organize everything so I can find information easily, even if I haven't seen it for a while and I don't have to dig in the dredges of my mind to pick it up. So without further ado, let us jump in here and start to show you how you can actually log into Airtable and start navigating around. All right. So here we are. We have my empty incognito screen, and I'm going to go to airtable.com just so you can see what it looks like before we log in. I will also add a link below so you are able to log in through that. It is an affiliate link. I don't get any money. I just get a little discount on my own subscriptions just so that you are aware. And you can actually do the same thing with anyone else that signs up. So we are here. We are in Airtable. And you can sign up for free. One of the things I love about the tools that I mostly work in and recommend is that they are really free for starting. You can actually run your whole business in the free versions of Airtable and ClickUp, since that's the other tool that I mainly use. And you are able to utilize a lot of it without having to worry of, that you're going to get charged unexpectedly. There are some really good benefits about the paid versions, but we will not be talking about in this video. I'll do a later video where we analyze what those differences are and when you might want to move up a level. So we're going to sign up for free. And I'm going to do it through Google, I think, this time. Okay. All right. So after a little bit of issues there, I have jumped back in here, and this is the screen that you initially see as you log in. So I already had created this account before as my test account. So there actually is a base in here already, but yours would actually be the same exact thing except without this base in here. So I just wanted to kind of lay that out up front. So let's kind of look at how this is laid out. Because navigation of these types of tools can seem overwhelming, and I just want to let you know where everything is. So let's start at the top. We have the little Airtable icon here. If you click it, it always brings you back to this page. And then we have the bases page, which is all of your own personal bases that you create, and everything you create within Airtable is in here. We have the templates page, and if you click that, one of the great things about Airtable is that they have a really great template library that all of their developers have created. Others that work in Airtable have submitted free and otherwise very inexpensive templates into this area here, and you can use these to kind of kickstart the bases that you use in your business based upon what piece it is. Really interesting to look through and browse and see what you need, but I'm going to encourage you to actually really start from scratch and see what it can do before you get overwhelmed by looking at all of the templates out there, because sometimes they may include something that you don't actually need, and I don't want you to think that you need it before you actually jump in there and do it. So we have, I'm going to go back to bases here, which you do that over on the right hand side. Marketplace, where you can actually purchase other things as well as extensions. So you can have extensions as part of Airtable as well. I believe the free version, and I will look this up, you could have like 3 extensions per base or something like that. I honestly, I just bought, the upgraded version, so I can have more extensions, but so that this is where you can look at them, and this is where the visualizations, deduplications, creating org charts, etc. can be done. And Universe just has a lot more information about Airtable, etc. So let's go back to the bases page. Most of the navigation of this space is over here on the left-hand side. They have a little ad up here right now, but that will or will not be there depending on when you sign in. You can actually search. So if you're like me, you have a lot of bases out there. So you can actually search for a particular base within here, or interface, and we'll talk about interfaces a little bit later. There are workspaces. So very much like the setup of project management tools, there are larger spaces where smaller individual units kind of reside within. So the largest areas that information can live in is a workspace in Airtable. So you have your account here, and you actually can have multiple workspaces. So this first one here is my first workspace, and you can add bases to it. You can share it with people. It's just a place where you can put information that's important to you or a few other people. You have bases that are shared with you. So someone has shared an executive hub with me, so it is actually showing up here as well, and that will also happen to you or your clients if you're sharing information with them that way, which is a very important thing, and we will cover that when we get to it. You can add a space work down here. You can actually throw things away down here as well, and so that's important to notice. And then my favorite area, I'm a constant learner, is the learning and resources. There is a lot of interesting things down here. The webinars are very informational for Airtable, and the guides and help centers also very helpful. They're one of those programs where they really want people to utilize Airtable to grow their business and to be able to do things within their personal and their business life. So they provide a lot of help within there. So let's get through to the workspace area. Let's look at our first workspace. We have workspaces. We also have something called interfaces, which you can actually create from bases. So imagine that you have like a worksheet or something, and you can fill in information that's actually in your database with that information. Let's say you have like contact information. You want someone to look at it and make sure that it's accurate. You can actually go in there and do that. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about actually how to make your first Airtable base. So let's click Add a Base. And let's talk through how it's set up here. Very similar to most databases, but there are a few more choices that you can utilize when you're in here. There is some information over here about importing your work, and sometimes if you're pulling in information from Google Sheets or Excel or a mailing list provider, it tells you ways to pull that in here, but we are just going to enter in information now. So within here, we had talked about there being a workspace, and then within the workspace, you can have multiple bases. Within the base itself, there are also little information segments, puzzle pieces, however you want to think of them, that information can live in. So the first thing is the table. You see, this looks very similar to Excel in that you can have a table here, and you can actually add other tables as well. to the base. And I'm going to cancel that and take that out there because we do not need it quite yet. You can go in and rename the table. And I'm going to call this maybe just contacts, because that is a common table. And you are also able to add descriptions about each of the tables. So you can duplicate table, you can add table description. These are contacts for my clients. Save description. I'm always a big fan of labeling things so you know what they are later. We have over on the left side here different views, which means different ways that you can actually view the information. We're going to stick with the grid view for now, but you can go and play with these and see what these are. Over at the top here, you have ways that you can also view the information using filters, hiding certain fields, etc. So when you first come in here, I want you to have an idea of the type of things that you would like to see in a database. We're going to do an example of contacts today, but some of the things that I've used databases for include leads. We've created CRMs that are in here. I use it as one of my favorite things to use it for is an executive hub, where you have a list of everything the business needs categorized into different sections, so you can see certain things depending on your position and be able to find information really quickly. It's like a great use of almost like a table of contents to have a high level view of the business at a glance and be able to drill down into the things that really you need access to quickly. If you are more interested in learning about that as well, I've created a YouTube video about the Executive Hub or Central Business Hub that can be created, as well as a link to a template that I have below in the description. So let's keep going here and let's kind of talk about how to create a contact database. So I'm going to, I should state that these are some of the fields that just come in automatically. They are different types of fields. But I'm going to delete them for now so we can actually start from scratch. I'm going to call this the first name field. Actually, I'm going to leave name, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'm going to do the first name, single line text, last name, single line text, and then I'm going to do phone number. And there is actually a field type called phone number. And then we also I'm going to do an email address. I think that's a good email address, a good start. Whoops. Cancel. It says create. So in here, I'm going to put my favorite test characters, Mickey Mouse, with 111 222 3345. And I want you to just notice, because it is a phone number field, it actually automatically reformatted this into a phone number format. And then email address at AnnaSimpleSolutions.com. So I would go in here and add a few more. So I will do that right now just so you can see how they go together. All right, so this is my little contact list of all these individuals and the information that pertains to them. I'm going to actually go over here to the first field, and this is maybe not a beginner thing, but something you should keep in mind. This is something you should keep in mind when you are creating databases like this. This first field is also known as the record ID field. So one of the most powerful things about Airtable is its ability to hook up to other tables. But you need to have a record ID field that can be referenced and make sense in the other tables in order to pull that information over where you can look at things in different ways. So I am actually going to create a formula field here. So this is name still, but I'm going to change this to formula. And we're going to use our favorite concatenate. And we are going to take first name, comma. I'm going to do a dash. I'm going to do a space, dash, space. And then last name. And complete the parentheses there. So when I do that, it's going to do Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Daisy Duck with the dash in the middle. All right. So when you look things from other ones, you can look at that way. So my homework for you is to go through, sign up for Airtable, start to play around with types of spreadsheets that you can make, and just get used to all of the pieces that are within the main bases in order to kind of see where the pieces fit. The one last thing I want to show you is how to actually utilize these individual filters, etc. at the top. Very much like Excel, you are able to filter things based on conditions. So here we have filter, and we're going to say where name contains, and I'm going to put mouse, because we do know that there are only 2 in here where they are named mouse. So only the Mickey Mouse ones comes up. You can also change this to, I'm going to take this out here, and I'm going to do where email address, I'm going to say contains. So instead of saying is not, is empty, contains a D. And so the Daisy and Donald Duck actually come up as well. You're also able to group these. Let's clear out this one. And I'm going to group them by last name. So you can see these last name Duck, so anyone that has the name Duck, and last name Mouse. So please go through and look at all the data that you can put in here, and possibly how you can group it, how you can sort it. You can sort it first name first, see that switched it, and play around with those types of things. And then I will see you here next week to talk a little bit more in depth on how you can actually use the views with the filters in order to make sure that everything is looking the way that you want it in certain views. If you liked this video, I encourage you to click the like button below. Please comment, let me know what you thought. If you would like to get more tips and tricks, please sign up for my email list. You can see it in the listing below. I'm going to be coming out with more tips and tricks about ClickUp and Airtable, as well as productivity in general, especially for ADHD or neurodivergent entrepreneurs, because that is my sweet spot, and I love helping them achieve success by following their dopamine and not spending time on the things that cause them chaos. So with that, always keep things simple. Until next time.